Hey all, welcome back to another episode of Brave Kids Art Club. My name is Brad and I am so excited to draw today. It's a perfect day for drawing. Are you guys ready to draw? Awesome. Okay, well the animal we have today is a really cool one. It's an apex predator, meaning it doesn't have anything that hunts it. It is the top of the food chain, and it's a really neat animal. So let me give you a few hints, see if you can figure out which one it is. And I'm kind of partial to this animal because it's kind of a big deal where I'm from. I'm from Seattle, Washington. They're the largest species in the dolphin family. They're black and white, and they have a really, really tall dorsal fin on their back. Do you know which animal this is? That's right, we're drawing an orca, also known as a killer whale. And they're called killer whales because they sometimes kill other whales, which is slightly terrifying, but other than that, they're actually really neat animals and they're really beautiful animals. So let's make sure we have everything we need to get started on our drawing, and let's go. Make sure you have your piece of paper out because we're gonna have our orca swimming across our page right here. And then you're obviously going to need a pencil of some type, preferably one that's sharpened, and you have an eraser handy because we'll do a lot of sketching, which is actually my favorite part because we're going to figure out what this looks like. But afterwards, we're going to need to do some erasing because over top of it all, for our final lines, we're going to use a dark marker or a pen. That'll be our outline. And at the very, very end, we're going to do some coloring. And you can have whatever kind of coloring tools you want. If you want to be using crayons or I don't know, colored pencils or paint, whatever you want, that works just fine. All right, so to start our body, like we did our blue whale, we just kind of did a wavy pattern and then we copied that on the bottom. That's what we're gonna do here. So we gotta kind of mark off where our whale is going to be. Maybe this is the end of the tail and this is gonna be where their mouth is. And maybe from their tail, the tip of the tail to where it meets the body, let's just say it's right around there. Cool, so now I know I need to make the main shape of the body right fit within this little space right here. And I kind of want to err on the side of going a little bit lower so I have room for that really tall dorsal fin, the big one on their back. So I'm going to kind of go like up like this, and then I'm going to kind of come down, do a little dip, come back up, maybe go a little bit higher, and then a little bit more dramatic drop, like that. There we go. It looks just like a killer whale. No, I don't know. It doesn't look good yet. I always get frustrated when people look at what I'm drawing before I'm done drawing it, and I'm always like, don't look at it yet, it's not ready. It's because it always looks kind of funny before it's done. But trust me, this will look good. All right, so let's start on the bottom. We're going to kind of mimic that, but we're going to be a little bit more dramatic. A little bit more dramatic. So go. We're going to go down here. And we're just going to kind of do, you know what, we're going to leave that dip out. We're just going to give them kind of a bigger belly and get thicker as it gets right around here. And that's all going to kind of meet up right around there, roughly. Yeah, that looks pretty good. There we are. This is feeling very similar to our blue whale drawing. Blue whales are a lot longer than what we drew them, but of course we only have limited space here and we wanted to make sure you could see enough of the details on them. So this one's a little bit more accurate in terms of scale. They're kind of thicker whales. Okay, so now we're gonna let's do that mouth. We're gonna do let's do the little line first here. So they have really interesting markings. They're black and white, and they got the white mark right here underneath. Right about there. But that mark is going to be perfect because the lower half of their mouth is white and the top is black. So this will help us separate their mouth. And right what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to kind of give it a little rounded off like that. Here, I'll erase this a little bit so you can see this better. Maybe we can zoom in here for a second so you can see it. Kind of go like that. Almost like little fish lips, kind of. Right there. So we separate those like that. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and do our eyeball. Let's do our big eyeball. Maybe right around there. Right around there. We'll have them looking up over here. The big pupil to make them extra friendly. We love our friendly animals. There we go. And that looks like, and they kind of have a more stunted off nose, a little bit rounded off. So if you need to kind of round that more, you can do that. We'll see. We'll see once I get around to a little bit. I might make the eye just a little bit bigger, but we can keep fiddling with those things as we go. We're going to do a little blowhole. They have that because they can breathe out that. They don't breathe underwater. They don't have gills or anything like that, so they have to come up and breathe. That's what they got that hole for. And then we also got the little patch. They have very distinct markings. And this one is right here. I always thought this was their eye. I thought their eye was right there. It looks like a big eyeball on the side, that big white patch. This is white, this is white, but no, it's not. The eyeball is right in front of it. Maybe that's a little bit big, but we'll see. And then we'll go and let's do that dorsal fin in the tail so that we can tell exactly where everything needs to be. So we'll do a big dorsal fin right here. Like that. And we'll kind of curve it. And I believe that's how they tell each other apart, by their dorsal fins. But if you notice, some orcas will have curved or even curled dorsal fins, and that's a sign that they're unhealthy. And that means they don't get to swim around a lot because they swim a long distance. And when they do, it keeps that dorsal fin up and it uses it to guide it through the water. But when they don't get to use it when they're in like captivity, when we capture them and put them in small tanks where they can't go very far, it starts to curl because it can't even support itself, which is kind of sad. So happy orcas have a perky dorsal fin, not the big curled ones. So we're going to draw a very happy one. He's out in the wild enjoying his family. They travel in big pods a lot of the times, so like 40 of them. A group of them is called a pod. Okay, so we got that dorsal fin on there. All right, so that leads us to the tail. Here we go. I'll show you how to draw that tail. So we're going to go from the base here. We're going to kind of curve it, go up and over like this. Like that. We'll do the other one right over here. And we'll kind of go out like that. We're going to draw it on its side so that we can see it. Normally this would probably be flat, but we want to draw it this way so we can actually see the tail. It's a little bit more interesting to draw that way. We'll just pretend they're twisting. And then we'll kind of go at, I'll just kind of mark I was going to do it in the center, but if it's like kind of at an angle, we'll kind of do it right there. So then we do this, we go down and back up, and then in. Those are the whale, the shape of a whale's tail. Maybe I'll go in a little bit more. Like that, goes into the middle. Let me erase it so you can see it better. Like that. And like that. There we go. Now I think that might be a little thick, so what I can do is I can thin out that tail like that. There we go. I can thin it out if I want because it's definitely a little thick, but I like the way that looks. And they have really big pectoral fins. There are these fins right here. You'll see they have really big paddles almost. They look like kayak paddles. We'll do them like this. They're just like cut off ovals. You just draw an oval and cut off the edge where it meets up with the body. Like that. Something really interesting I learned about orcas is I saw the skeleton of an orca and I realized they have fingers in those fins. Did you know that? They have fingers in there. Why do you think they have fingers? Well, I think was before they used to actually be a land mammal. Isn't that crazy? They used to live on land and then they've just evolved, which is crazy because even on the right about here, they have a tiny little pelvis. Why would they need a pelvis? That's for your legs and everything. And they have a little tiny one right there floating around. All right, so we'll draw the other little fin back there hidden away, but we can still see a little piece of it. And then I'll make sure I erase this part so that we don't go over that with our marker. Okay, how we looking? This is looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. And now, we still have another little mark that we have to do over here. They got this one on their belly. One on their belly right here. Sorry, I'm fighting a cold, so you might hear me sniffle a little bit. There we go. They have one on their little belly. And then they actually have one gray spot. So they're black and white and gray. They have a little gray spot that's right about here. It looks like a little saddle. Looks like a little saddle. And that one's not white, but gray right there. And they all have those, but that's pretty much a killer whale. And let's do the, I might make these a little bit bigger because I think it needs to be a little bit bigger, and that's okay if you want to go back and make little changes. This is a good time to do that right before we go to our outline with our marker. We want to make sure we do all those things before we get to the marker. So I'm feeling pretty confident where I'm at right now, so I'm going to start jumping into my outline. I'm going to start maybe with that tail then. I might just start right on with that tail and then go right into the body. There we go. And I'm actually, you know what? I didn't tell you this, but I was not gonna go all the way through that, so maybe you can erase that just before you do it. And then we're gonna do that tall dorsal fin. Orcas just remind me of home. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and there's a lot of orcas out there in the water between Alaska and California. They kind of swim around between there, and we get to see them quite a bit. We have them as mascots. We have them as really cool art done by Native American tribes in the area. There's kind of orca everything. So it's kind of fun to draw one. Okay, get those little lips. Now their mouth is closed, but they actually have really big teeth. We didn't show their teeth. Maybe next time I'll draw one with its mouth open. But they have really, really big teeth because, like I said, they eat whales. They eat whales, but not all the time. They do, but they also eat seals and they eat fish, but they are really, really good hunters. Kind of scary hunters, actually. Let's do those little markings. Do you know why they have all these markings on them? Because they look very specific. They don't look super random. It's actually for camouflage. It helps other animals under the water not be able to see their true shape and how, like, their silhouette or their outline. You can't really tell because there's some, when you're underwater and you see lights and darks with the sun, and then the dark, and as the further you get down it gets darker, it gets harder and harder to tell the difference. So it's hard to tell how big this is or what it is, and that's what they like for hunting. They like to be sneaky. There we go. We're gonna draw that big eyeball right there. Oh, I gotta think of my name. Name for my whale here, my orca. Oh, and we gotta get the little blowhole on the top. There we go. Yeah, if you want to draw another whale, we did do the blue whale. If you missed that one, so you can go look at that blue whale one right up here. You'll be able to see it. You just click on that link and you can check that one out. That's a fun video too. Oh, I thought of a name. I'm gonna name mine Willie. Now there was a movie growing up called Free Willy, and it was awesome. Where there's a boy that saves a orca, an orca that's in captivity that was at like an aquarium, and he saves it, and it was actually a really good movie. I remember as a kid. So I'm gonna name this one Willie in honor of that awesome movie as a kid. And I think I'm ready just to erase now all of my sketch underneath there, all the pencil. All right, well, hopefully you're at a good spot and you're ready to do some coloring. So while you're coloring, think of a name and I'll get my coloring done and we'll meet up right after. And I think Willie is done. Now I chose purple because I didn't want to do black. If I do black, sometimes everything gets a little too dark and lost, but maybe you did it and it worked out just fine. You should definitely show me. I'd love to see what you guys have been working on and how your orcas turned out. All you have to do is have your parents go on Instagram, just tag us at Brave Kids Art Club, and I'll get a chance to see it, and hopefully some other people will as well. So thank you guys so much for drawing with me. I hope you're proud of what you made. That's the whole goal here, right? Is that we're proud of what we do. And so I am, and I'm going to get my pen out and I'm going to sign my name on here so everybody else knows how proud I am. I'm going to own my work here. Put my initials right there, and we're good to go. All right, so stay tuned for the next episode. We do these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We used to do them daily, but I'm changing it to Monday, Wednesday, Friday so I can do some really cool things for Brave Kids Art Club that are coming up, and I'm really excited about. So stay tuned for those, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you know when all the rest of these videos go up. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. But before I leave you guys, remember, be brave, be creative, but most importantly, be you. Alrighty, we'll see you guys next time.